Hi, my name is Lisa and welcome back if you have already checked out some of my videos, and if you're new, welcome. So today we're gonna go over a beginner series, and if you haven't checked out the last video for a beginner series, then go ahead, check it out. I just focus on lower body and I take it nice and slow. We're just gonna take it up a notch. This series is gonna be like a yoga practice in and of itself. We're gonna take it a little bit slow, and then we're gonna bring it up a notch, bring it up a notch, bring it up a notch, and then eventually bring it on down. So for today, I want to explore sun salutations as well as a little bit of our warrior sequence and vinyasa. Now, if you are new, you may be like, I don't know what any of that is. That's so confusing, which is okay. The beautiful thing about yoga, it's a practice. And it's such an accessible practice, even though it seems intimidating. I know a lot of times we go out and we see yogis who don't look like me, who are very specific aesthetic, but I promise you, anyone can practice yoga. If you're pregnant, you can practice yoga. If you have one leg, you can practice yoga. Yoga is so much more than an asana practice. It's about learning about yourself on the mat, so you can begin to take that information off the mat with you. So we're gonna dive on into our beginner's warrior sequence, or traditional warrior sequence. So let's go ahead, come into our comfortable seated position. We're beginning this practice in meditation, remembering what we spoke about last week. Yoga chitta vritti narodaha. Yoga defines the balance of consciousness. It helps you ease the mind. Take a nice big deep inhale into the body and sigh it out. Sigh out the day, the week, your weekend maybe. Take a nice big deep inhale into the body. Exhale, sighing out. Last big deep inhale into the body. And sigh it out. Taking a moment to set an intention for yourself this practice. May the practice be a doorway, guiding you to learn a little bit more about yourself, who you are, and gain more confidence as well as connection with your physical body. So whatever intention you need, even if it's just that I take it one step at a time, then go ahead and set the intention. And let's go ahead and open this practice with one loud Om. Take a nice big deep inhale for Om. When you're absolutely ready, go ahead, gently float the eyes open. Beautiful, guys. Let's go ahead and come on to the hands and knees. And let's start off with a child's pose. So bring the big toes together, the knees as wide as the yoga mat, and come to sit on down, bowing on down into our child's pose. Now, if that's too much to send the glute muscles back towards the heels of the feet, we find ourselves kind of a little bit like this. That's okay. Maybe try curling the toes under, sending the knees underneath you. Maybe it doesn't feel as good. Maybe you want to keep the legs nice and wide. And I promise you, over time, it will happen. You will find the glute muscles naturally descending towards the heels of the feet. Grounding down through the fingertips, swaying from side to side. Maybe the forehead reaches the mat, maybe it doesn't. And if the forehead reaches, maybe you can sway the head no. And if it doesn't, Don't worry, just release the jaw, close the eyes, take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale. Last big deep breath in. Exhale. Slowly come to a nice tabletop position. Shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. I like to turn the webbing between my first finger and thumb a little bit outward because I have super broad shoulders, so you can try that too. I relax the elbows so I don't hyperextend. Curl toes under. Take a nice big deep inhale. Send the belly on down, roll the gaze forward and up. Exhale, tops the feet to the floor, round in the upper back, chin comes towards the chest. Maybe find the knuckles lifting a little. Inhale, send the belly on down, roll the gaze forward and up into cow posture. And on an exhale, tops the feet to the floor, round in the upper back, chin comes towards the chest. And then go ahead, slowly come to sit onto the heels of the feet. And then maybe you can send the heart through the window of the hands, inhaling into cow. Exhale, rounding the back, sending the glute muscles to the feet. Inhale, bend the elbows, send the heart through the gateway of the arms, gazing on up. Exhale, rounding in the back, chin comes towards the chest. Last round, inhale. Ooh, and snap, crackle, pop is normal as long as there is no pain. Exhaling. Go ahead, curl the toes under if they're not already curled under. And then press into the hands and feet, coming into your first downward facing dog. Again, downward facing dog can be a little bit challenging for a first timer. See if you can spread through the collarbones. Again, relax the elbows. See if you can reach the heels towards the yoga mat. If we cannot reach the heels all the way on down, they're slightly lifted, that's okay. Go ahead, take a nice big deep inhale into the body. Exhale, sigh it out. Widen through the collarbones and the shoulder blades, draw the navel on in. Send the sit bones up high, but then press the heels on back. Last big deep inhale. Exhale. Let's warm up with Surya Namaskar A, the first type of sun salutation, Sun Salutation A. So go ahead, walk the feet towards the hands, coming to the front of your yoga mat, swaying from side to side, swaying the head yes, swaying the head no. And when you're ready, grounding down through the feet, bending the knees as much as you need to, stacking vertebrae on top of vertebrae, rolling on up to Tadasana. Coming all the way to the front of your yoga mat. Grounding down through the feet, rising through the crown of the head, drawing the navel on in, knitting the rib cage together and down the belly as you rise and lengthen, creating space in the spine. Big deep inhale. Exhale. Let's bring the hands to Anjali Mudra, prayer hand position. Inhaling, reach the fingertips forward and up towards the ceiling, lengthening, lengthening, lengthening. Exhale, swan dive the hands all the way on down into forward fold. Bend the knees as much as you need to see if you can get the hands a little bit further on down. Inhale into your flat back, coming up onto fingertips or sliding the hands towards the knees, melting the shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, go ahead, release. Bring the fingertips in alignment with the toes. And then go ahead, step the left foot back, and then step the right foot back, coming into your plank posture. Again, we explored plank a little bit in the first video, so go ahead, see if you can find that sit bone heel connection. Again, relax the elbows, hug the inner thighs in towards each other, and then see if you can internally rotate those thighs, and notice when we internally rotate the inner thighs or try to go for that, it kind of brings that connection right to the core. Last big deep inhale. Exhale. All right, shift the weight forward onto the tippy toes. I know it's a lot, and release the knees down. Here's the tricky part. See if you can bend the elbows, keep them hugged in, slowly lower the heart in between the hands.
Inhale, see if you can slither and wiggle on forward into cobra posture. And then when you're ready, slowly rise all the way on up. Breathing in at the top of your cobra. Exhale, coming into child's pose or downward facing dog. Remember, you can come into child's pose at any point in the practice. That may have been already a lot, and that is okay. Take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale. When you're absolutely ready, gaze between the hands. Just walk the feet forward into forward fold posture. Keep the knees bent, super bent, so we can reach the fingertips towards the earth, reaching the crown of the head towards the earth, even if it's not there yet. Big deep inhale. Exhale. And when you are ready, inhale to rise the hands up, out to the sides and up. Hands come through prayer. And release. All right, last round. Inhale, sweep the hands up. Exhale, swan dive the hands down. Inhale into your flat back, coming up onto fingertips, or maybe even sliding the hands towards the knees for a nice flat back. And on an exhale, go ahead, release. Fingertips in alignment with the toes. This time gently step the right foot and then the left foot on back. Grounding down through the fingertips, engaging and firming the arms towards each other, but remembering not to hyperextend in the elbows. Last big deep inhale. Exhale, shift the weight forward, knees, chest, and chin. Inhaling into cobra. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Just breathe. Take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale. And then begin to walk the feet towards the hands, coming into forward fold at the front of your yoga mat. Inhaling to rise, sweeping the arms out to the side and up towards the ceiling. Hands come to prayer. And release. All right, before we transition into our warrior sequences, let's come into a chair pose, Utkatasana. So for Utkatasana, we want to bring the feet hips distance apart, just starting out. Traditionally, it's done with the feet together, big toes together, heels slightly apart, but just to get into the posture, we're gonna go ahead, bend and squat and send our fingertips down to the yoga mat. And notice you may wanna walk the feet closer together because you're like, wow, that's a lot of pressure on the knees. So let me go ahead, bring the feet closer together, hugging the inner thighs in towards each other. Sweep the fingertips forward and just sit. So this is where I began with my chair pose. And maybe we wanna go ahead and send the fingertips up towards the ceiling. Last big deep inhale. Keep sending the pubic bone towards the navel to lengthen in the lower back. And when you're absolutely ready, go ahead, slowly release the hands all the way on down. Bring the fingertips in alignment with the toes. Step the left foot on back. Then we're going to pivot the left foot down to a 45-degree angle. You're either in a heel-heel connection, or we bring the feet around hips distance apart. I like this transition better. We're gonna come into warrior one. So reach the fingertips on up. The key to warrior one, and the hardest part about warrior one, is trying to keep those hips square. So we're sending the energy of the right leg back. The hip comes with it. As the left hip moves forward to square the hips, we're grounding down through the outside edge of the left foot, knitting the rib cage, lengthening in the spine, reaching the fingertips on up. Even though this is the first pose, it's called warrior one, it's extremely, extremely challenging to get those hips straight. That's why I feel, if you feel like the hips still are having a hard time, that's okay. Be patient with yourself. Even my hips aren't completely straight all the time. So one day at a time. Big deep inhale. Exhale. Last big deep inhale. Exhale. Let's move into warrior two. Warrior two. We send the right hand forward. We send the left hand on back. Now, to get the left hip behind, or I should say the left foot behind the right, we're just gonna step it. Make sure the right heel is making an imaginary line cutting the left foot in half. Melt the shoulders away from the ears and just gaze. Send the tailbone down towards the yoga mat or create space in the lower back. Gazing forward, smiling through the collarbones as well as the shoulder blades. Take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale. Last big deep breath in. Exhale. Perfect. Go ahead, straighten the right leg. Reach the right fingertips forward and down as the left hand comes all the way on up in triangle pose, Trikonasana. Hug the right hip in towards the midline of the body as you lengthen. And then go ahead, sweep the hands on down to frame that right foot. Come up onto the left ball of the foot, step back, and we're gonna go through a vinyasa. Go ahead, grounding down through the fingertips, shift the weight forward, knees come down, heart slowly comes in between the hand. Inhaling, this time baby cobra, tops of the feet to the floor, pelvis to the floor. Just rise slightly through head, neck, and chest. See if you can be like, look mom, no hands. And when you're absolutely ready, press down, roll the shoulders on back, engage the upper back and core muscles. And then curl toes under, press up and back, downward dog. Brilliant job. We're gonna now step the left foot on forward. You can always help it forward, stepping it in between the hands, pivoting the right foot on down on a 45-degree angle. When my teachers used to say 45-degree angle, I'm like, what does that mean? Just so that it's on a diagonal, toes are pointing towards the yoga mat, heels pointing towards the back corner of the mat. Bend on into that left knee, draw the core on in, rise into warrior one. Again, adjust the feet. When you first start yoga, it's all about just adjusting and finding what's right for you. Heck, when you continue yoga, you're consistently adjusting and figuring out what feels good for you. Knit the rib cage in and down the belly, rising, creating space in the spine. Holding with me for 2 more breaths. Inhaling. Exhale. Last big deep inhale. And exhale. And when you are absolutely ready, come into warrior two. Heel toeing the left foot to center, sweeping that right foot on back, creating that heel arch connection. Right foot is parallel to the back of the mat. We're smiling through the collarbones, melting the shoulders away from the ears, relaxing in our warrior. Taking a nice big deep inhale and exhale. Last big deep breath in. Exhale. Straightening the left leg, reach the left fingertips forward and down. As the right hand comes on up, snap, crackle, pop again, normal. As long as you're not feeling any pain with it. Again, hug the left rib cage in, square and firm the hips, the outer hips, the inner thighs. Lengthen, creating space in the spine as we reach the right hand on up. If this is too much, yoga blocks, I love them so much, and they aid a practitioner at any level. So you can always put your hands up on books or bring the hand up higher on the shin. Last big deep inhale. Exhale, release the hands on down. Come up onto the ball of the right foot. We're hopping onto the ball of the right foot. Ground down through the fingertips. And when you're ready, step back into your plank posture. Go ahead, shift the weight forward, firm the outer arms, or I should say inner arms in towards each other. And when you're absolutely ready, knees, chest, chin. Inhaling to cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Perfect. All right, last round of our warrior sequence. Again, we're gonna do one more round and then we're gonna cool it on down. Gaze between the hands, Bend the knees as much as you need to. Go ahead, walk to the front of your yoga mat a little bit faster now that we know our warrior sequence. Bend on into the knees, draw the navel on in, scoop the fingertips forward and up. Firm the inner thighs in towards one another. Sit, sit, sit on back, lengthening from tailbone to the crown of the head, using your core, sending the pubic bone towards the navel. Last big deep inhale. Exhale, fold on forward. Inhale, slide the hands towards the knees for your flat back. Now we're incorporating a little bit of everything. Exhale, go ahead, release, forward fold. Bring fingertips in alignment with the toes. Step, this time, the right foot on back. Pivot the right foot down on a 45-degree angle. Square the hips towards the front of the yoga mat. Warrior one. Nice. Take a nice big deep inhale. Firming the inner thighs in towards each other, lengthening. Sigh it out. When you're ready, inhale. Exhale, coming into warrior two. Melting the shoulders away from the ears. See how I shift? It's dancing a lot on the yoga mat, moving a lot with the toes and the feet. Take a nice big deep inhale. Sighing it out. All right, go ahead, straighten the left leg, place the hands on the hips. Turn the left foot to face the right side of the yoga mat. Now turn the right foot to face forward. Oh, we're facing backwards. Come into warrior two position. Breathe, bending on into that right knee. Big deep inhale. Gentle exhale. Grounding down in the present moment. And when you're absolutely ready, straighten the right leg. See if you can turn the left foot to the outside corner of your yoga mat. Heel toe the right foot so that the right knee is in alignment with the hip. We're gonna shift into warrior one. Now this will really help you learn about, all right, my hips need to be square. This is where I need to be in this space. Shifting from warrior two to warrior one is extremely challenging. I don't always recommend it, but I find that when I try to shift from warrior two to warrior one, it makes me very aware of where my body needs to be in space. Take a nice big deep inhale. Exhale. Last big deep breath in. Exhale. All right, slowly straighten the right leg, release. Turn the right toes to face towards the right side. Turn the left toes to face towards the left side. Shift back. Turn the left foot to face forward. Right foot to face to the side. Inhale, reach the hands up. Exhale, bend on into the right knee. Sweep the hands on down. Come onto the right ball of the foot. Step it on back. Tadasana, last vinyasa. Shift the weight forward. Inhale. Exhale, knees come down. Heart slowly comes in between the hands. Belly comes down, rise through head, neck, and chest. Inhale. Exhale, take a child's pose, release. So literally you could do that sequence every morning till it becomes one fluid movement. It takes a long time, specifically with warrior sequences. You can always learn something new about your body, a new technique. Everyone's body is absolutely different. So when we begin to explore new postures, new poses, you start off with the basics, but then you learn, well, my body kind of does this. So you learn a little bit about it. All right, rise through head, neck, and chest. Come to sleep, the legs in front. Great job. All right. Bend on into the knees, flex the toes, and then straighten the legs. Forward fold. Walk the hands towards the feet. Chin comes towards the chest. Just release wherever you are at. I love this softer variation of forward fold because we're not forcing ourselves into the posture. We're just seeing where our body goes. We're just releasing. And then over time, we can gently just place our hands wherever they fall naturally on the legs. Last big deep inhale. And exhale. Bend the knees maybe. And then come a little bit deeper. When you're absolutely ready, slowly rise through head, neck, and chest. Let's go ahead, bend on into the knees, and use your core to slowly roll all the way on down. So you could do this sequence literally every morning if you want to get better at Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. Hug the right knee on in. And then see if you can send the right knee all the way to the left side. And then the knee is in alignment with the hip. Maybe we're trying to find a deeper stretch by rolling the right shoulder open, maybe even finding cactus arm or straight arm. Take a nice big deep inhale and exhale. It's all about practice. It becomes really hard, and then you find a natural rhythm, and then it becomes a little bit more connected to who you are and where you're at. Or more, it's that we find connection with the body. Last big deep inhale here. Exhale. Slowly send the right knee in. And release. Let's bring that into the opposite side. Hug the left knee in towards the chest. And then send the left knee all the way over to the right side. Opening up in the heart space. Notice my leg doesn't reach down all the way, and that's okay. It's not about the leg reaching on down all the way. It's about creating space, lengthening from the hip bone to the shoulder. Last 2 breaths. Last big deep inhale. Exhale, draw the knee on in towards the chest and release the leg on down. Allow the legs to relax, the feet to naturally fall out to the sides. Breathe on into the belly. Sigh it out. Breathe on into the heart space. And exhale. Nothing else matters at this moment. Just your breath. And just spend the remainder of class, this is your task, to just focus on your breath. Notice every inhale and every exhale. You did an amazing job. Know that you're exactly where you're meant to be on and off the yoga mat. You're more than enough. And you are worthy of all blessings. You can stay here for as long as you desire, or you can begin to roll onto your right side, bending the knees. Coming up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that is for you today. I thank you again for practicing with me, for exploring this sequence. Bring the hands to prayer. honoring all that you've done as more than enough, as exactly where you're meant to be. Amazing job. Bring the hands to the forehead. May there always be peace and love within your thoughts. Thumbs to or in front of the lips. May there always be peace and love within your words. Thumbs to your heart space. May there always be peace and love within your heart. Let's go ahead, close this practice. Om Shanti Shanti. Peace. Have an amazing rest of your day, yogi. Namaste.